Hey guys, Retail Genius here is live, and I am excited to talk about something very near and dear to my heart on this live today. So if you're catching a replay, type in replay in the chat. But let's just get right into it. Okay, we're gonna get right into it. A man walks into a black-owned beauty supply store in Louisiana. He is not there to buy anything. He is not there to browse. He is actually on FaceTime, walking the aisles, talking to whoever he is talking to on the phone, and gets the owner and demands from the owner to tell him where he got his vendors from. Not how are you doing? How's business? Can I get a discount? He wants to understand how he got these vendors in his store. Now, this video has been going viral. It went viral last week. I just caught on it this week. And I want you guys to understand something because I also lived through something like this similarly where two Asian women walked into my store to scope out, what I had, what my prices were, and if there obviously if there were people in the store, all that stuff. But this is not like an isolated story. I did a video on this last night, and there was so many people in the comments saying that the same thing happened to them. Okay, so this is a pattern, and by the end of this live, I'm going to show you what is really driving it. Okay, and what you can also do if you are a owner to actually protect yourself. But I want to show a clip of the video that went viral of this guy getting harassed.
FaceTime talking about all our prices. I said on FaceTime you show? So yeah, sure as shit stank. The boy was walking around here on FaceTime showing all our prices and stuff like that. So of course I come out the back, I approach him and I ask him if he need help with anything. Immediately he jumps into, hey, did the vendors in this area open these accounts for you, or are you getting this shipped from your friends that you know? I'm like, what does that got to do with you? Like, why are you worried about that? I want to know, did they open for you? Well, that ain't none of your business, bro. That ain't none of your business. So I politely asked Mr. Mike, hey, bro, come up out of my stuff. Get up.
So y'all see that? So let's talk about what really happened in this video because the details matter. So you have a store owner, a black man, who has built a beauty supply business from the ground up and is working the floor like normal. And a man comes in. He don't grab a basket. He don't ask about any of the products. He gets his phone out and starts FaceTiming someone and walks up and down the aisle like he is doing inventory, shelf by shelf. Then approaches the owner directly and immediately asks where he got his vendors from, if the vendors sold to him directly. You guys have to understand that this is not regular questioning. This is a competitor questioning another competitor. Okay, because he found out that he was an owner of a nearby beauty supply store. Okay, and this is what makes doing business as a black owned beauty supply store hard because they try to withhold vendors. They will call the vendors and try to get your account, closed because they have a relationship with the vendor first. These are the games that they play. This is how they try to get us kicked out. Okay. This is where the entitlement, speaks volumes because he demanded, like came in from what we can see in the video and demanded for this young brother to tell him where he sourced his vendors. Okay. And like I said, y'all, this happened to me too. And so many people, like I mentioned, so many people in the comments said this also happened to me as well. Okay. When I had my store and those two women, Asian women walked in, they walked in like they owned the place. Like they like the IRS auditors up and down, looking at prices, looking at brands, looking how I, had my products organized, looking at my best sellers. I was a little bit more rude. I'm gonna be honest. I was a little bit more rude than he was because this was also like 15 years ago, and I feel like they were a little bit more brazen back then. But I was like, "Oh, y'all got to, you got to go. You got to leave immediately." I kicked them out. Go, come on out my store, because my store is a little baby store compared to your store. Y'all shouldn't be worried about me. Okay, y'all shouldn't be worried about me. But I want you to notice something about both stories, right? And none of the cases did any of these individuals pretend to come in like a friendly neighbor. They came in like the business owner success was like public property. Like the years of relationship building, all that trial and error, all that money loss, figuring out which vendors are reliable and which ones are going to ghost you after you done wired up that deposit, paid your money. They just walked in entitled to know, entitled to the information. Okay. And that is the part I want everybody to understand, because this is just, it's not like we're just talking about vendors here. This is a bigger issue. This is a bigger problem. Okay. Now I want to explain to you guys something about the numbers in this industry and why this is so important and why this also keeps happening in the beauty supply industry specifically. Because right now there's roughly 10,000 or so beauty supply stores in this country. And out of those 10,000 or so, there's less than 3,000, which is a third, Black owned beauty supply stores. Okay. Korean American owned stores make up the majority of these stores, and also the relationships. And this goes back to the 1970s. Okay. So when we look at the number one consumers in hair care and in beauty supply, we all know that Black consumers spend the most money. We are the ones buying the wigs. We're buying the bundles. We're buying the relaxers, the edge control, the braiding hair, the style. We are buying all of those things. In multiple industries, Black women spend far beyond anybody else in this industry specifically. And we also realize that everyone jocks our culture at the same time. But we are literally always at the bottom of the food chain. We are minority owners in just about every single industry. But that gap is not by accident. Okay, that gap is not by accident. But for decades, we have been in this fight to close that gap and to reclaim this industry. But of course, us as owners, we get discouraged from being blocked from having the proper access. Okay. Once we get up the funding and once we sign the lease, getting the vendors is the next thing. If we even are able to get a bank to say yes to us, and then we're able to get a landlord to say yes to us, we have to then try to talk to these vendors and get these vendors to say yes to us. That is what we're up against. So when they see a Black man who has a beautiful beauty supply store, it looks huge from what I can see, a nice size beauty supply store with all of the pop-in vendors, yes, they are going to get nervous. Because every dollar that is used to flow from a Black consumer to a non-Black beauty supply store goes right out of our community. It goes right out of our community. And we are now having this intentional conversation around circulating the Black dollar, because when we circulate the Black dollar and it stays in our community longer, it gets reinvested back into Black people, Black workers, right? That is what the wealth transfer is all about. This is not about hating on another culture. This is literally about shifting ownership. And that's what I talked about in my video. And that's why a lot of people are just not okay with it. They're upset because we are owning more stores and we are being intentional about how we spend our money. I literally spent an hour today trying to find a nail shop that does Russian nails in my community. Didn't find it. I gotta go to Brooklyn. Y'all know I'm from Queens, and some of us feel a way about Brooklyn. I gotta go to Brooklyn, but I gladly do it because I understand this movement. I understand what we're trying to do. Okay. And literally, when it comes to, and what I'm so upset about this video that has gone viral with this Arab man coming in this black man's store, is like, we're out here minding our own business. He's minding his own business. This is not a video of him going to the Arab store, looking, shopping up and down on FaceTime, and then have the audacity to ask where he's getting the vendors from. You will never catch a video like that of us doing that type of stuff. We're going to come in and pretend and be friendly and act neighborly. These people are brazen. They don't care. And so we shouldn't care. Okay. This is about us taking back ownership in an industry that we literally created back in the 1920s. Like, do you guys understand? Madam C.J. Walker and people of her time became millionaires in the beauty industry and hair care. Like, we started this whole thing. I'm still trying to figure out how we got here. Oh, I know how we got here. That's another topic for another day. But we have literally tried to get back to where we was in the 1920s when Black women were running Black hair care as they should. Okay. And now we've seen a shift, and I would say the shift happened maybe back in 2010 when I got my store started. We've seen a shift of more Black-owned brands, natural brands, organic brands taking up shelf space, and that was great. But now we need to own the shelves. That's like next level, different conversation, right? Because when we own the shelves, no longer do Black-owned beauty brands and hair care brands have to fight to get shelf space in Target, right? Like, what are we talking about? Like, when we take up space and we have enough Black-owned beauty supply stores, enough Black-owned nail shops, enough Black-owned businesses, we don't need permission anymore. We don't need to be begging for the crumbs, the little shelf space. I remember I used to go in Target, and in Black History Month, they used to put up the pictures of the CEO, and they had a little blurb about the CEO and the products and stuff like that. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, when people walk into my store, I proudly talk about these Black women and their products. Like, I know their story like the back of my hand. Like, this is real for me. This is personal for me, right? This conversation, I don't want to get upset, but this conversation is personal for me as a Black woman. So when you're having a conversation about your hair care journey, when you're having a conversation about the transformation that you're trying to accomplish with the weave, the braids, the wig, or whatever it is, it's literally personal for me. And that is the thing that made me want to open my own store, because I felt like we just did not have a safe space for us to have this type of conversation outside of our traditional hair salon, right? We didn't have a space to have conversation about products and transitioning and all of these things. We didn't have that in a brick and mortar business. That is exactly why I started my beauty supply store, because I was tired of going to the Asian-owned stores and feeling like it's just very transactional. Okay. And now we are in the space where there are other Black women who are raising their hand, and they're also saying, like, I also want to create a safe space for women of color to shop. I also want to create a space where I could support Black-owned brands, Black and brown brands, and have events and have community centered in hair care. And so I want to I want us to shift our mindset, right? I want us to understand, first of all, I do want us to understand that right now, I do believe that we are in one of the greatest black wealth transfers that we have ever experienced. It is happening right now. I see it. I hear the conversations with my clients. I'm seeing their wins, and I'm obviously seeing the conversations in my own content online. And I just don't want y'all to miss it. I don't want y'all to miss this great black wealth transfer that is happening right now. Like, I don't want y'all to be talking to y'all grandkids and they're like, Grandma, Grandpa, what were you doing during the greatest wealth transfer of your generation? What did you do? You don't want to be the one that said, I ain't do nothing. I watched everybody else, open their business and open their store. And I was just too scared. I was too afraid. And I'm just speaking directly to the people on my page who come here because you want to open a beauty supply store, but you're scared, you're nervous. I want you guys to see through the viral video of our young brother in Louisiana and my own stories. When they come to a store that is a quarter their size and they're looking up and down and they're asking questions about the vendors. And again, I want y'all to understand this is never about the vendors. This is about the wealth transfer, right? They are shook because they understand what is about to happen. I want you guys to also understand what is happening. Not what is about to happen, what is actually happening with the wealth transfer. I don't want y'all to miss it because you're scared or you're just on social media scrolling and commenting on posts and you're not pulling the trigger. And I'm not saying this to just people who want to open beauty supply stores. This goes for anybody who has it on their heart to start their business. I just say it all the time. Like, you just don't want to be a grandma or grandpa talking to your grandchildren and you don't even have anything to give them. You don't have anything to pass down to them. My grandparents passed down stuff to me and my siblings. So I know that I have to make sure that not only am I passing something down to my children, my grandchildren, like I want to pass something down to my great grandchildren. Like, I want to literally do what the Bible says. Okay. I want to be able to leave a legacy and generational wealth that when my grandchildren are talking about me or we're at my funeral and they're reading the eulogy, here lived a woman who, and they're running off a list of long accomplishments and what she left us and the legacy and this is what you want people to say when you leave this place. You left them with something. You left some type of legacy, y'all. And so I'm gonna wrap this up and say, guys, this Thursday, I am pulling back the curtain on how the beauty supply industry works. I'm having a free training online. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and actually drop the link in the chat for you guys who are interested in joining the conversation, because I'm going to go very deep into it. There's not a lot that I can say on social media. Like, there's not a lot. I'll get flagged. All types of stuff. Y'all know how it works. So y'all need to come to the training where I can discuss more of how this industry works and how we help our clients open beauty supply stores. And y'all, I have been doing this for quite some time. I've been in this industry since 2010. I don't really know what the numbers are, but I've been in this industry for a long time, and we've been helping people open stores for about 8 years now. So, there's receipts there. I'm gonna drop in the chat the link. So if you guys are watching me on YouTube or on Facebook, the link is there. If you are watching me on Instagram, you're going to have to DM me the word training and I'll send you the link to the training. Okay. So if you're watching me on Instagram, DM me the word training and I'll send you the link to the training. But it's going down on Thursday. Okay. On Thursday is where I'm going to be able to talk to you guys about the steps that I took, right? Opening a store. I had bad credit. I didn't have a lot of money. I had zero prior beauty experience. And I started my store in 60 days. In 60 days, I opened my beauty spa store. Now, we have helped women open way faster than that over the years. And we have helped women and men. I actually got a client in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. My second or third male client in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So that's another thing about Louisiana is like, I love the fact that y'all really support and y'all show up in Louisiana. Yes, they do. They show up and they show out in Louisiana. But anyway, more on that. And I'll be talking about my clients. I'll be talking about my journey. I'll be talking about everything on Thursday. Okay. You want to show up on Thursday is going to be lit. Okay. Everyone that shows up is also going to get a free gift from me. So the link is in the chat. And if you're watching me on Instagram, like I said, if you're watching me on Instagram, DM me the word training and I will send you guys the link. I'm going to go and enjoy my weekend now. I hope you guys have a good weekend and I'll see you on Thursday. Bye. Have a good weekend, everybody.